Hey, what's going on, everyone? So, in today's video, we will be discussing the new tariffs that the US is planning on imposing on Chinese exports of almost $200 billion. So, let's watch this video quickly and then we will discuss the tariffs afterwards.
On Chinese business and political economy at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. Scott, thank you so much for being with us. So, listen, it's no secret that obviously there are some unfair tactics that the Chinese have used when it comes to trade. People talk about intellectual property rights. The Chinese have obviously flooded the world's global market with these cheap goods that have put a lot of industries out of business. Fine, but is this really a smart way for Donald Trump to go about righting what he sees as wrong?
Well, it's certainly possible that part of the solution might be unilateral pressure, like the tariffs that were implemented today, but they can't be done alone. When you build a house, you don't just use a hammer and hammer nails. There's a lot of other tools and things that you have to do. In addition to that, we need better rules of the road. We need to collaborate with allies. We need to strengthen our own innovation infrastructure. And so this may be part of it, but if this is the sole focus of what the administration does, then I think what we're going to find is that this is going to drag out and we're not going to be any better off than we are right now, 6 months to a year down the road.
I want to talk about this sort of tit-for-tat method that we're seeing, retaliation, because obviously the Chinese understand that, but at the end of the day, the Chinese are the ones that have the most to lose from all of this. So should they just sort of come to the table and say, listen, we're willing to negotiate, no more tit-for-tat, we're not going to retaliate anymore, let's come up with a solution?
Well, certainly, my suggestion would have been...
But it's not going to happen, is it?
Yeah, my suggestion would have been for the Chinese long ago to pursue a more market-oriented economy. They would have had more efficient growth, more widely shared, less diplomatic problems with the United States. But Xi Jinping is as much a nationalist as Donald Trump, if not more so. He really believes that government intervention in the economy is what has brought China this far and is what's going to take them ahead to conquer these high-tech industries. This is going to take a lot of U.S. pressure and a lot of other things, not just unilateral measures to get China to change course. This is certainly getting Beijing's attention. Right now, though, China's economy is doing pretty strong, despite what you're seeing in some financial markets in China. They've got a ways to go before they want to come back to the bargaining table, too.
I actually interviewed, I think it wasn't yesterday, it was the day before yesterday. I interviewed the head of Director General of the World Trade Organization, and he said to me that, if a massive trade war was to erupt between the US and China, that the economic damage would be at least on par, if not greater, than the 2008 financial crisis. What do you think of that?
Well, financial markets today didn't give us that answer.
Right.
So they disagreed. And certainly 34 billion or 50 billion in tariffs both ways is still a small drop in the bucket for the economy.
I know, but it could, of course, escalate way more than that in terms of what Donald Trump has threatened.
And if we also follow this up with auto tariffs for the global auto industry, if the worries about the global yield curve in treasuries turns, that could create another a story and a narrative that leads the economy to head south. But for the moment, both sides have enough economic and political wiggle room to face off with each other. But yes, global supply chains run through China and the United States. They're very important. They're hard to adjust. It could bring a lot of damage. And so you want to fix the problem, not just look like you're fighting and being tough. And that's going to take more than what's been done today.
It certainly takes a lot of maturity, somebody just to say, listen, we'll back down first. So you bring up an interesting point about the global markets, just walk us through that, because, in the past we've seen 1,000 point swings on the Dow because of the potential.
All right, so this is a very important issue, right? That directly or indirectly can affect all of us. So yeah, I do agree. China has manipulated the U.S. Market for a while. They have not respected any intellectual properties. Like I said, whatever we invent, they come out with a cheaper product. You can obviously go, for example, You know, I've seen, iPhones being sold as like Z phones, which pretty much take the concept of an iPhone and just, you know, just created at a manufacturing plant in China with a little bit of spec changes here and they're selling it, So obviously, no respect for intellectual property. But having said that, we have gotten pretty dependent on Chinese goods at a certain price. So what happens is when we do start talking about these tariffs, they, yeah, they're going to affect the Chinese market, but they're going to affect individual U.S. consumers as well. Because the way that exports work is, you're going to have companies that are going to have to pay more or to acquire a certain product that they need to, manufacture their end product, or a retail customer, would have to pay more to purchase stuff at wholesale. Obviously, they're not going to incur the entire cost, right? They're going to take that cost and pass it down to the actual consumer. On the back end, also, what they're going to do is just so they don't have to send 100% of the increase to the consumer, they might let a few people off. So now in turn, just because their profit margins are going down, they're going to be hiring less people, getting rid of their employees, getting rid of a lot of their employees, kind of shrinking down and making less employees do more work. So in the long haul, it does affect us negatively. Okay, so if you do want to control, how uh, China, has been manipulating us, it has to be done with baby steps. Like you have to, if you are going after Chinese exports, putting tariffs on them, you can't do that while at the same time you're raising tariffs on all your allies as well. So now the issue is we are raising tariffs on all these people, making it less lucrative for them to trade with us. But in turn, who do we have that can, you know, provide us with those products in case, one of these other countries decides to stop trading with us, And that's the big issue here, because we are a service-based industry, and we do rely on these exports for a lot of manufactured items, and at the end of the day, the reason we get manufactured items, the reason we are importing $504 billion worth of Chinese goods, is because it's more cost effective to get it from China than to build it at home. And that's just the economics of it, right? We're not doing it out of the goodness of our heart. It's because financially and economically it makes more sense for us. So again, that's my opinion. I'd love to hear what you guys think about this whole situation. So feel free to leave a comment below and let me know what you guys think. Thank you.